Okay, hello. My name is Julian Pașcalău, and probably you know me from the Validators Telegram group. I'm in charge with, among other things, with releases and patches and announcements and so on. Today I will present the Validators Town Hall uh, number 2, and we will focus about what we have ready or will be ready in a short period of time. And yeah, spoiler alert: we are not going to talk about staking phase 4 yet. You will see why in this presentation, and hopefully we will do that in the next validator town hall. So number 3 will be we will start talking about staking phase 4. So let's get going. We had an announcement about the DevNet Phoenix Day. What that means is we will need to restart it from scratch because it gathered a lot of data, as seen in this slide. We are around 2.5 terabytes of data gathered, and of course this becomes a burden for us, the validators, and we will need to reset it. Since we will affect a lot of developers, we will start a new DevNet, so we call it DevNet number 2, and they will run in parallel for some time until everybody gets a chance to migrate from the first DevNet and on the secondary DevNet, and only after that we will discontinue using the first DevNet. We've come to this solution as to affect as few developers as possible. Also, we will reset the testnet after we will go live on mainnet with the RC-V150 release candidate branch. Also for the broken backwards compatibility issue we have on the testnet. The DevNet also is broken in terms of backwards compatibility. Hopefully, we will restart them from zero, and full import DB and validation from the Genesis up until the latest block. It will work flawlessly. Okay. So, as probably know, from the last meetup, we had 3 mainnet release patches. I'm going to go very briefly on each of them. So the V1.4.16 fixed the discrepancy between execution on the meta chain on the shard involving transactions that had usernames, that used usernames. No flag was needed. The V1.4.17 was a fix for a relay transaction failure behavior inconsistency. It was found during the Great Heist. In this one, we needed a flag, an activation flag for the fix. And V1.4.18 was optional release for targeted for the validators that run Elasticsearch index nodes. It was not mandatory for validators, but was highly recommended. Okay, about the Great Heist, we had 217 submissions. As in 238 were invalid, 19 incomplete, 8 to be analyzed, 3 issues, 7 others not campaign related, and hopefully winners will be announced tomorrow. was a great period of time of recapping and retesting everything and throwing rocks and bricks in on the protocol and associated microservices. Was very good to reanalyze everything and retest everything. So yeah, it was a great period of time of testing. Um, Next slide. This is the release plan we have in mind. So as seen, I think this was presented also in the last meetup. Not much have changed. So we have the Altair V150 with the Guardian features that will be launched approximately on June 13. Yeah, there might be a activation period of around 10 days for everyone to be able to upgrade their nodes. After this release will be made, we will have a dedicated small patch, optional but also highly recommended. The first Altair patch will upgrade the compiler version for the Go compiler version to 1.20. And on the same release, we will upgrade the Leap peer-to-peer libraries. These upgrades will need to be made simultaneously. We can't go around them, only upgrading something, not upgrading both. So we will have this patch ready by then and announce them. We will test them on the testnet. Minor script changes will be required on the testnet and the devnet. We will get along with this one. Next, the Sirius V160. This is a large release candidate. There were a lot of fixes inside and a new features, a cool feature. Some cool features like the multi-key nodes. We will come back a little bit later about this feature. The VM 1.5, including the WASMer 2.2. We have a lot of state access optimizations ready there. The governments, the DNS 2.0. It will be it will be fun to play with this release. We can hardly wait to release them on the public testnet. Of course, after this release, we have the Vega, including staking phase 4 as the main feature, and Andromeda V180 with consensus changes and transaction finality improvements, sovereign chains first version, alpha version, and some light clients support. Okay, now going back to multi-key nodes, which will be roughly present on the testnet in about 1 month, maximum 1 month. What we want to test here is the possibility to run multiple keys on a group of machines. So with 8 machines, 4 main, 4 backups. Here we have one in each, 2 in each shard, so 1 main and 1 backup in each shard. You can be able to run as many keys as you want. However, we recommend a maximum 40 keys. You need to consider this value quite a lot, because if something happens with your stacks, a lot of nodes will a lot of keys will be jailed. So this needs to be a little bit taken care of. Yeah, the observers, there are going to be some special types of observers, some hybrid between the observers and the validators that we will able to sign on the behalf of each key in their shard. That is that will be validator or proposer in the current round. Nodes won't shuffle anymore. So a few state entry syncs will be made at each epoch start. This will highly decrease the bandwidth usage. Also, since there are fewer nodes, the upgrade and monitoring will be simplified. And this is very important. This feature will actually help the staking phase for we will talk about in the um, way that if you will have a variable number of keys that will be part of the eligible group in each epoch, it will simplify how you will be able to manage those keys. With I don't know, you probably want to stake, I don't know, 60 nodes, and those nodes will be could be carried over by I don't know, 2 stacks, so 16 machines, and this will be made quite automatically, so you won't have to start nodes, stop nodes in order to save some cost and so on. And of course, the last but not the least important is the cost saving. You will see that running this variant of the node with the multi-key feature, you will be able to save a lot of generated cost by machines. What we have now as a work in progress, we are still testing the serious features, the V160 release. We are actively working on the sovereign chain. The sovereign chains will be partially decoupled chains running on the MultiversX solution that can be somehow connected to the main chain, the mainnet, for example. We have a work in progress full archive nodes update. We understand that this feature never worked as expected, and we have a solution for this feature to work properly. We will announce it as soon as we have a prototype ready and some tests that prove we've taken the correct path implementing. We are almost ready to decouple the output driver that is used on the Elasticsearch indexers. So that will be a separate binary that will talk with the node over WebSockets. So each time we have a small bug or some new minor feature on the indexer, we won't need a node release for this. We will just update the Elasticsearch binary. We are working on the shadow fork to be able to execute mainnet transactions in a local testnet way, to be said. And of course, we are working also on the finality optimization, what will be available in the Andromeda release. So yes, I think the brief presentation is over. If you have some questions that we can help answering.
Yeah, I think there was some good input from Martin here. Maybe we can decide when launching the new DevNet about the epoch duration for the new DevNet. We can bring it closer to mainnet, maybe not exactly 24 hours. Now, to answer Martin, the reason why we had let's say, smaller time for the epoch period, so the smaller epoch periods on DevNet, was also because people tried to test faster changes. Also, we have, for example, features that and currently we will do it like this. The first stage, we'll try to keep it like this. The first stage is testing on testnet, then upgrading the devnet, like you've seen with the latest Guardian feature, and only afterwards moving to mainnet upgrade. I think before this last release, we kind of did it in the reverse order. We were upgrading the devnet after upgrading the mainnet, and it might still be possible to find some issues maybe during the devnet, so it makes more sense to upgrade that faster. Also for the X portal, I know the guys have the some setup there for testing features before they get released. It's easier for them to test there, like system test stuff. So it's also easier to or faster to test new features that involve both the protocol and related updates for X portal. It's not a definite constraint because we are planning also to move the setup in local environment, so it's easier to change things. But yeah, this was one of the reasons why the devnet was also shorter, like the
And
epoch.
to add a little bit more context, we've asked some our internal smart contract developers, hey, what do you think about increasing the period of an epoch? And they almost instantly rejected and said, no, it will defeat the testing purposes. It will take longer and longer times to test something, because a lot of smart contracts are bound on the epoch change period, not round, not nonce, not block nonce or such, but epoch. So those kind of smart contracts will be affected while testing them. So yeah, I kind of have mixed feelings of increasing the epoch time to higher values.
Yeah, but we'll discuss it afterwards, and we can
Of course,
decide.
of course.
Mhm.
So it's not a problem for me if the epoch time is left as it is. It was just a thought to maybe increase the time before a definite reset is needed the next time, because yeah, it gets bigger and bigger over time, and we don't want that.
Of course. Now, as seen and discovered, we've adjusted also some parameters on the devnet configs during, I don't know, last 10 releases or such, in which we've tuned config there. So the retention of the accounts tree database would be made fewer times, to be said, as opposed to to the period before the upgrade. So yes, I think for the new DevNet, so DevNet 2, we will keep that value as high as possible, as to as the nodes to accumulate less and less data while running the DevNet chain.
I think there are not many questions because Julian mentioned in the beginning that next town hall will talk about staking phase 4. So everybody's waiting for the next town hall.
Yeah, actually, we need to move first this release, as Julian also mentioned that staking phase 4 will rely a lot, at least for the validators that have more keys. They run like staking providers that have multiple validators. In order to optimize a bit their actions, since every epoch there is an auction, in order to optimize, I see that some validators are stopping their nodes. Well, with this new setup, it's not entirely needed to stop nodes. You can still have it optimized. Yeah.
Cost-wise, and you can manage them more easily. I put in the chat, in the in-call messages. I put the documentation. Documentation for the multi-key is ready. We can hardly wait to test it on the testnet and devnet. Also, the redundancy part is built in. It blended with the feature, so we need to test also that. It will be really fun on the RCV 1.6 whenever it will be released.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend you to already start using it on the mainnet, since we need to first do some testing in public testnet. Well, I think what we are mainly or what we want to see is that there's no issue with the peer-to-peer connections when we have this new setup with many validators. So it will be interesting to have a larger participation for different validators in the testnet when testing the multi-key. So that we are prepared and there's no issue, no real issue when we change or when many people change their setup to this one.
There is a raised hand. You can go ahead and speak.
My question, first of all, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, hello everybody. This is Jack. I'm from Cyberpunk City, and I wanted to ask if we could have a schedule for the removal. It's kind of a little bit off of the topic, but if we could have like a schedule for the removal of the nodes, because some nodes are in the queue. So what can be done about that?
Yeah, so I think it was more of a, it wasn't anything we committed to remove periodically, but we did it. We removed the Aeron community nodes or MultiversX community nodes. The idea is that with staking phase 4, there will be no longer a queue. As I mentioned, there's the auction, and there's no need to keep removing nodes, because it will stabilize. It will depend on the top up. Of course, we need to see also internally to see when we will remove it. I don't think there's a decision yet we've made for this. The thing is that we're trying to push also with this release, the serious release, to push it as fast as possible after the Guardians, so that we can move faster with the staking phase 4. Of course, during this time, we'll have time to discuss staking phase 4 and see what everybody feels about the proposal, what parameters we would need to adjust, and so on. But yeah, the idea is that the queue will no longer be needed, and after that, I think we can decide also how to decrease the Aeron community nodes.
In general, we are removing nodes at every 4 to 6 weeks after there are some nodes in the queue. And there was a removal of nodes like last week, if I am correct. So the next one should be around end of July or middle or end of July. and it will depend on how many nodes are there on the queue. After that, as Adrian mentioned, on staking phase 4, these things should equalize. Like stake, no more need for queue. There is need for top up.
Oh, okay, thank you so much.
I'll just answer my own hand since I'm the co-host.
Okay, go on.
Yeah, sure. I know like we have to wait for the documentation. But has there been any decision on like a node cap per provider for phase 4?
Yeah, this is what we need to decide together. Like we have come in the proposal. I think we mentioned something like I think it's 50 nodes per staking provider. But it doesn't mean that if you have more right now, it will automatically remove your nodes. You will simply not be able to add more nodes.
Right. Yeah, that's kind of where I was going with that question. I was just wondering.
Yeah, and
how that would happen.
since the it will also depend on the top up. So if you have more nodes, but all of them split the same common top up, you will get less top up per node. And if the others increase their top up, you might have to remove yourself some nodes in order to keep the others eligible.
Yeah, fair enough.
These kinds of parameters, I think it should be like an open discussion between the validators, the community, the core team, and to be proactive in keeping the network decentralized and making it even more decentralized. So at one point there was like 1% of like all the nodes we need, which was 32. Then we were thinking about 50, what Adrian said. But these are like just suggestions right now and not like clear values. It would be super to hear your opinion, like from everybody, and to come to a conclusion by getting more people involved. As you saw on the release plan, we will have like governance before the staking phase 4. So we might try to have the vote for staking phase 4 through the governance. So it should be a community effort.
Yeah, so
to put up the parameter.
That's when the fun starts and we all get to start arguing. I can't wait. But yeah, thanks for just mentioning that. I know a lot of us, that's kind of one of the big elephants in the room is how that's going to happen. And we haven't really got back too much information on that. So thank you for being a bit more open about that. And I'll look forward to Town Hall number 3, where we can roll up our sleeves and get angry at each other.
I'm going to schedule that next week.
You just have to reach an agreement.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. I 100% down with that that approach, and I think it's super important that phase 4 is that other step towards decentralization, and that everyone has a part in it. It'll be a very strong sign to the community, to the rest of crypto, how we handle that, and it's not just here's what we're doing. So I'm glad that we're taking that approach. Thank you.
I will schedule the next call for next week. We have this recorded. Julian said in the next town hall we will talk about it.
Of course.
Just kidding.
We make a short break now, and in 15 minutes, next town hall begins.
Yeah, efficiency. I wanted to ask something. Maybe some technical feedback from the team regarding the Guardians. We've seen the official announcement, the posts, the blog posts, the heist, and all that. Did you? I wanted some feedback on what is the status with that. Do you guys still need to work on it? Still found some things that need to be improved, or just
yeah. So it's basically from the protocol point of view, it's done. We are still running the backwards compatibility checks, but this normally we do in short time frame. The thing we are waiting now is for X portal integration to be finished, so that when we activate, or when the feature activates on the mainnet, we'll have support on all our wallets, like extension, the web wallet, and X portal. So this is why we have pushed it to around 30 this month. The guys on X portal are still testing the flows, but I think by 30 we'll have everything finalized on X portal as well. The guys for X portal were pretty busy with the other features, with the card and so on, so they had to split their effort into many other directions here. But otherwise, the great heist was, as Julian mentioned, was a great testing phase, for not only for the great heist, because as you've seen, we've had a patch on the mainnet as well to fix some inconsistencies in how some failed user transactions were treated through the relate. So that is fixed there, and with the guardians, this problem could have caused some sort of denial of service. This is what was mentioned also on Twitter, and it was a nice finding. There are some issues we still need to see, but mainly these are like user-facing issues from the UI UX. Not from the feature itself. Otherwise, I think 30 sounds like a good target date for at least for announcing the release. We'll see with the activation period.
Yeah, for activation period, since this is not a critical bug or a critical fix, I think we will go to announce a 10-day time frame as to make everybody have plenty of time upgrading their nodes, including integrators, including exchanges, and so on. That was our last releases. Quite standard time frame.
But I guess just after we announce the release, since it's already on the DevNet, we can start, as you mentioned also in the presentation, we can start testing on the testnet the next one, right?
Yes, we will erase the testnet. We will start from 1.50 and prepare for the Go compiler changes along with the peer-to-peer new libraries, and test that. If it's working okay, it will be pushed on the mainnet also after the, of course, after the Guardians activation. And then only after that, we will start focusing on testing the RC-V160. So right now we are 2 releases away on the testnet before we can tackle the multi-key feature, the new VM feature. We are wondering how it will work. There were optimizations and quite a few interesting things implemented there in the VM 1.5. Yeah.
Great. Because I see Martin here, and I know he's a builder. There's something that I want you to be aware of. please test as much as you can all your applications before Guardians will be on the mainnet, because it may happen that some of your flows on the applications will change. And we are more than happy to support you with the changes and explanations. And probably you have some inputs for us to improve the documentation. And I hope that the activation epoch won't get us surprised that, hey, Guardians are on the mainnet and our apps are just blocked.
Yeah, regarding what Mihai said, it is very important to for developers to keep up with this new type of signing the transactions because now some changes are being put in place, and of course they might break the normal operation flow.
Yeah. So
Otherwise,
just one more thing. The extension is there. You can already use it. The providers are updated. You can already test them. Documentation is there. We added some more documentation on the SDK app just yesterday. Yeah, if you have any other topics and questions, we are more than happy to answer them. Just ping us.
Wanted to add on this topic as well. What we tried to do at least was for the interactions from the apps with wallets to not change. So basically it happens the same way. It goes to the wallet, and the wallet from the wallet the user does either just approves if he doesn't have a guardian, or he introduces his 2FA code. But otherwise, the app, from the point of view of the app, there should be no issue. It might be if you are using just e-gold and not ESDTs for the interaction, for whatever transactions the users are signing, that you need to increase the gas, because the guarded transactions have an extra gas cost. But if you have, let's say, some tolerance for the gas, you estimate more, then it should fit also with the guardians. One thing to check as well will be with the ledger flow. If you interact with your users in the D app directly with a ledger, as we also have in the exchange, in X exchange, then it might be that flow is changed. I know there's another page there which you are directed to from the app, and you need to use the new providers in this case.
And we also have a test app for Ledger that you can already download and play around with it.
Yeah, we're still waiting for the. I think we're still waiting for the proper release on the Ledger, which supports also Guardians. Hopefully, this will be available before the feature gets activated on the mainnet. Or at least in the period, because there's 20 days for the first activation of Guardians. So we still have, after the activation on mainnet, there's still at least 20 days for users to be guarded and actually have a different behavior with this. So there's still time to have the proper release. We have, as Mihai mentioned, we have special release for the Guardians. Is not official release yet, but we'll see. It needs to pass the audit first for the Ledger integration, and then it will probably be in the official release. We'll see how fast that goes.
Okay, looks like all the questions have been answered. We have solved the universe problems. 45 minutes in, actually 40 because we've waited 5 for everybody to join. There are lots of us here in the chat, so if any of you want to say something or raise something or, I don't know, add something to the call, feel free to do it now.
Yeah, you are all great. Keep up the good work. Or no, we are all great.
Okay. I don't want to take any more of your time. Thank you for joining us this second call. We've waited a bit longer to set the call because it overlapped with the Switzerland event, and we're going to set the next one in less than a month or about a month. Call number 3. So we're going to give Julian the chance to prepare for the staking phase 4 presentation.
Yeah,
Sorry,
and maybe
man,
before that, we'll also release some more documentation on that. So we'll start preparing also the documentation and everything else.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for your time and being part of this meetup.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.
Yeah, see you.